San Antonio, this is Rob for the MetalWorks. Yes, we are here, believe it or not, back at our old stomping grounds, the back room in Austin, now known as Emos East, and none better for the first time than to check out a killer-ass thrash show that's going to be co-headlined with one of our favorite bands from the Bay. Great honor to bring back one of the most legendary vocalists of all time, Mr. Chuck Billy of the band Testament. How you doing, Chuck?
I'm doing good. How's it going, man?
Oh, God, it's great to see you again. It's great to see you out on the road and back in Texas.
It's always good to be in Texas.
Before we start talking about this kick-ass tour, I want to talk a little bit in retrospect. I know that, you know, a lot of fans out there know that the formation of Damnation was like, quote-unquote, reunion record with Skolnick and Greg. Looking back now, how do you feel about that initial recording and ultimately the reunion and the tour and all the touring that you did for it?
Well, you know, once we got back and got Alex and Greg and Louie back in '05 back together, after the very first rehearsal, we knew that, wow, this was the sound and this is the feeling that we had when we started this band. And for those guys to come back and record that record was a great feeling because it really brought back the style and the way we created music back when we started this band. We had some great guitar players, great drummers play with us over the years, and bass players, but none of it was the same without the original guys. It was that sound and feeling and style and just being together in the same room. It just was like, yeah, this is it. So when we did the Formation record, it really was like taking us back to our roots in our early days when we wrote songs, because when those guys left, me and Eric pretty much held the fort down, but we were writing records that were basically songs that were structured without a lead guitar player in mind. A lot of the leads on those records after, like Low and Demonic and The Gathering, those if you really listen to them, they really aren't structured with lead breaks in the middle. It's more like more rhythm themed lead sections, I guess. So when Alex got back into the group, the Formation was the first time that we got to really go back and write songs that were structured for a lead guitar player. And especially having Alex, because we know what Alex and Eric, that unique sound they have together. So that was kind of like really started, you know, like cool. And when we wrote that record, well, before we wrote that record, we just got together just to play one show in Europe. And that kind of blossomed into a couple of years of touring. And we never really pushed the subject about doing a record until all the touring was done. We finally said, okay, you know, we're having a good time. People and fans are enjoying it. What do you think about writing this record? And that kind of like everybody was in the right mindset to say, let's do this. And I think now where we're at, especially the new record coming up, we're all really focused and feeling really in a good place, because we're all really, I'd say, confident playing with each other, because it's like this is something that all of us, it's almost like something we got to finish together, something that we started. So where we're at, you know, our mindset right now and where we're at writing the music and just touring, it doesn't get any better, you know. Like right now, you know, in the early days of touring, it was all kind of a friendly competition and who can play the fastest, scream the hardest, and, you know, all that. At this point in our lives and careers, it ain't about that. It's just enjoying the moments with each other and playing, and me bouncing back after cancer, just being able to go, you know, it doesn't get any better because we got the guys together and we're touring, we're playing our music, and like I said, we're going to finish it out, something we started, you know.
Just one question. You know, the Formation of Damnation was such a successful release. Chart, you know, real high in the charts. You guys did a lot of great tours with the Priest and other things. Do you feel now like, geez, you know, we got a lot of pressure because we just kicked ass with Formation of Damnation? You know, you feel confident like this one's going to be even better?
Well, when we did the Formation, we came off the Gathering record. And for us at that point, the Gathering was like, I think, the best record we'd done up to date, that we had felt like, you know, this doesn't sound like a dated band or a record. It was really, you know, modern sounding. So, you know, we were like, that was the hurdle of thinking, okay, the Formation, how are we going to beat the Gathering? But when we did the Formation, we knew we had some good songs, but we didn't know that the record was going to be as good until we actually mixed the record and sat down and listened to the record as a whole. And then we sat back and went, wow, this is a good record. You know, I think it's better than The Gathering, because The Gathering is just a little different elements of black metal blast beats and stuff, where the formation was straight ahead Testament, you know, power and stuff. And that was different. I think now coming into the new record, you know, it's always been, it wasn't like the last ones where we go, you know, we got some good songs. This one is going to be definitely, I think, a better record. As in the demo stages we're at, we're like, wow, we got some really good songs. And I think all the songs have their own identity in life, where the other records were as a whole. These songs stand out on their own, and I think that this next record, you don't have to be a metal fan, I think, to enjoy this record, because like myself, I listen to some other bands that aren't metal, but if it's a good song, I dig it, you know, it's a good song. So I think we have some songs that we wrote for the new record that are actually, they're just good songs. So I'm kind of excited, because we're not thinking about, you know, we got to be this metal band and play fast and hard. And it's just about writing good songs, and that's it. And so we're pretty excited what's leads for next year, because we got some strong stuff, you know, coming out, and we got a good team behind it. We got a new, you know, with Nuclear Blast and new management and new booking agents. Everybody involved is all new and all team players. So we're pretty excited where it's going to be going next year.
Let's talk about this tour. Killer ass freaking tour for thrash fans out there. Testament, Anthrax, Death Angel. I mean, doesn't get any better than that. How did it all come together?
Well, it was it was just kind of a coincidence. Us and Anthrax had the same management months ago, and I think that's what kind of started it. We weren't going to tour and do anything until our record was done, but we've been saying that for a year. And then, you know, the Megadeth Exodus tour and the Slayer Megadeth tour, we're like, how could you not pass that up? So, you know, we had to do what you have to do. And the fans want that. You can't let the fans down. And those opportunities call, you got to take advantage of it. And again, when this came together, it's like, you know, we're going to have the Anthrax Testament tour. What do you think? And right away, we were like, that sounds like a good tour, because the Anthrax was actually probably one of the first bands that we toured with back in '87, Europe and America. And actually, Anthrax was the reason that we got the original band back together, because after I was sick, we were looking to get back and do the Gathering lineup. And then somebody asked, one of the promoters in Europe said, hey, I got the original Anthrax coming to do the Dynamo Festival. What do you think about getting the original Testament? So that's kind of what sparked it all anyhow. So here we are when they said the Anthrax Testament tour in America today or this year. We're like, makes sense, you know, and the fans want it, you know, and you know. How much
of an impact did the big four shows have on all this?
Oh, they have a great impact, you know. I mean, I think for them it's great of Metallica to show the world, you know, another side to the style of music. And you know, it's I guess a stepping stone for it all, but it's good for bands like us. I mean, we've been I guess on the coattails of that Metallica train for a lot of years. So, you know, here we are once again, you know, the Anthrax coming off the big four, and us getting to do this. But it's good. You know, we're taking a break from the new record too by doing this. We're not just work. So, and it's coming out really good. So when we get finished with this, focus is on finishing the record. And next year, I mean, we did over 300 shows on the Formation record. So as soon as the new one comes out, Dark Roots of Earth, we'll be hitting it hard.
Really quick for the Testament fans out there, it was quickly kind of noted that Gene Hoglan is doing the drums on this tour. How did that happen? Why did that happen?
Well, actually, yesterday was Gene's first show. Okay. John Tempesta is actually, he started the tour. Oh, okay. And John, he plays in the Cult, so he had to go do some shows in Europe with the Cult. So he left this morning, and Gene flew in yesterday and started the tour last night. So this is Gene's second show tonight.
How do you do?
Oh, he kicked ass, man. Gene's a pro. He stepped in. He knew the song. Everyone just stepped in and killed it. You know, every day I'm sure it'll get better and better as we go. And Gene will only be here for 2 weeks, and then Johnny will come back in and finish the tour.
That's great. I did not know the specifics of it. Also, I can imagine, you know, when I said, this is gonna be a fun tour for the bands. I mean, you know, you and, you know, Death Angel are from the Bay. You go way back with those guys. I mean, you guys are like friends and stuff. So it's like having family out on the road with you, you know.
Totally. Tonight, you know, it's Robb's birthday today, so, you know, I'm sure tonight it'll be a wacky night and a lot of fun things going on and some surprises probably. So, you know, it's good when you get to tour with people that you know. When you tour with new bands you don't know, you make new friends, but it ain't like history traveling together and getting back together. So
this tour, you know, started on the 14th, running the Saturday right before Thanksgiving week. What's the reception been so far from the fans you're seeing, you know, across the country in this past 2 weeks?
Well, it's been great. There's a lot of old school fans that haven't seen us for 20-something years and haven't seen us in Anthrax for 20-something years. So the fans have just been great, and it's good to see the new generation of fans coming out. It's just not old school fans as old as I am. There's some young kids coming to the shows, and that's exciting to see, you know, that this music is reaching generations, and it means something. It's not just a fad of a style of music. It has meaning, you know, to a younger generation, you know. So I think that's really cool, you know, and that speaks a lot to this style of music.
Chuck, as we end out, any last words for the people in San Antonio, the people later on around the world who will see this interview online?
Well, just that, you know, we're having fun, and that 2012 we're going to come with the Dark Roots of Earth, and we're psyched up for it, and I think the world's going to be excited once that record comes out. It's going to be good. Awesome,
Chuck. Thank you, sir, for your time. You're always a great interview. I appreciate, you know, all that you give our program and the viewers out there. Remember, San Antonio, you saw the man, Mr. Chuck Billy, only on Robb's MetalWorks.